Good evening, YouTubers. T.O. here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight with more lake breakdowns. Tonight, we're sticking back to Ray Roberts Lake. So you guys remember last time, if I click in on here and scroll in a little bit, you remember that we ended right here off the edge of this point. So we basically covered everything on that side of the lake south down to the dam. Tonight, we're going to keep working our way up, see what else we can find. Stick around. Got some good stuff for you. Let's go ahead and dive into this thing. If you guys missed the first video for Ray Roberts, we go over here on the KML, on the Google Earth part of it, and I actually organized this out by a couple different things. Offshore hotspots, so if you just wanted to see the offshore hotspots, I have those listed here. This also includes the brush piles. I can't remember what it was called, but there's certain brush piles that were put out here. There's like 21 different ones that are out there. I took all those coordinates and put those in there for you, so you'll have those in these markers, so you'll be able to pull up and see those. So you have those. You also have all the creek channels that are marked, so all the tracks for those. Ponds are big here in Texas. If you can find these ponds where these pond dams are, those can be really good for you. Rocks, debris and cover, and ramps. So we got a lot of good stuff to cover tonight. Let's go ahead and get started. You remember last time we started right off of that point right here. I made a little special icon just for myself to show where we ended at. And then we also need to pull back the timeline so that we can get a good image here. So let's go ahead and pull this up to the timeline here. And I'm just going to pull this back to, I think 2014 was the year we had that was the best. But let's give it a second and take a look. My old internet's not exactly speedy. 2015 is looking pretty good. It's probably going to be our best image, so let's go ahead and stick with that. Looks like 2014 is giving us the same thing. So you remember last time we found the rock off this point. Let's go ahead and start there and move our way back here. I didn't see too much on the bank line back here, but I did. Let me go ahead before I do this, just make it easier on all of us. I'm going to make this all much bigger. All right, there we go. So coming up this bank line, we do have a little bit of rock right around this area. So you can see it right in here. We also have rock right around here. So really that whole bank line, you've got this rocky area that starts from about right there and ends about right here, right on the corner. So definitely a good spot to go look at. These points look good too, especially if you can find these points that have rock off the edges of them. This one looks like it may have some rock that could be dried out land too, so you gotta be careful. Sometimes it's deceiving on the way it looks on Google Earth. But these points can be pretty good as well. Just a lot of flooded timber around, so they could be hard to get to. Moving on down, seeing if we see any more rock. There is a little outskirt of rock right here, just a little bitty short area. So went ahead and marked that for you guys as well. You know, it's funny, that we mark these things, and some people say that I'm crazy for marking those, but I'm telling you, I've been on patterns before where if I could find those little spots of rock that were in between all the dirt and soot and all that junk, but I could find just those little avenues of rock, I can turn that into a pattern and basically run that across the lake. So it's definitely worth marking and definitely worth going and looking at. Coming back in here, there is a little bit of a ditch back here, I guess, in the end of this cove, but I didn't see much of a creek or anything to mark for you guys, so I didn't put anything there. Moving up here, though, and we get off of this point. This point looks pretty good again. Lots of good standing timber off the point. There's also some rock there that you can see on both sides. And then further down on this side, there's a little bit more rock right in this area as well. So if we look at this when the lake's at full pool, you definitely would not know that all of this stuff is there. But when we pull that lake back, we can actually see what's going on. This one actually lets us see quite a bit. So a pretty good breakdown we're going to be able to get on this one. There's an old pond dam or something that's going on out here, so I went ahead and put pond out there, but it looks like there could even be some debris right in there, so go check that out. Those are always good little honey holes when they're off the bank line like that. Then moving down here, I can't tell. You can tell something's going on. This could just be a harder surface on the bank line. It's not rock. If I zoom into it, I can't really see rock. If it is rock, it's very, very light and crumbled, and it's so light that I'm not sure if it's fishable, but it's definitely a hard surface. At least it looks like it. Or it could be maybe just a different color of sand or dirt. But these highlighted areas where you see it white, they might be worth going and checking out and just seeing if those are really harder areas. And you can tell on your graph when you go over them. Just look at your 2D graph, and if you see the bottom getting really red, then you know that you've got a hard surface below you. All right, so as we move down here, got another little isolated rock pile going on right in this area. Those are always juicy if you can get back to it. The problem is you got so much standing timber back here. You've also got a pond dam that comes up back here. So that can be interesting. I don't know what that would look like when the water's all the way up. Can't get to that pond, I don't think, but you can get right up beside it. So that's probably a pretty good little pond dam to fish right in that area for sure. So I'm going to draw that back to 2014, 2015. We're going to keep going. Again, lots of standing timber. Now this is a good pond dam. Real good pond dam to fish here. Definitely check that one out. That pond actually looks like it has pretty good depth. And if we pull the water up, you should be able to at least get your trolling motor and get past that. So you can get back on the inside of that and do some fishing on that. So I can see that being a really good spot to check out. Moving up here, you've got some rocks. So it's a little bit of rock around that pond dam, some rock in that area as well. As we move a little bit further up through here, just seeing if we have anything else going on. Got a little pond in there, but I think when I pulled that up, the water doesn't actually get high enough up there, for us to get back in there and fish it. So not sure. I mean, there could be fish in that pond, but that's not really a spot we can get to in a boat. Back in here again, I was talking about those spots, right, where the land turns white, and to see if that's a hard surface. It appears, on Google Earth, those are hard areas. So definitely go look at those. Anytime you get these points where they're white on top, you probably have some sort of a hard surface. So go check those out. These particularly, we could actually see the rocks on them. We've got rocks on this one as well. I actually like this one the best because it's not as big and it's pretty isolated. And it looks like you may actually be able to get to it somehow. I don't know if there's boat lanes on this lake or what. There's trees everywhere, so you just got to be careful where you're going. So moving down here, we got another one of those pond dams. This one looks really juicy. Love this one. Again, this is going to be one we can get to, via a boat when the lake is up. The water's usually way up here. So if I pull that up again, just so you guys can see it, this is what it would look like on a normal day. Those pond dams can be really, really good, so do not overlook them. Moving back in here, we got a little ditch that's back in here. Again, not sure how you get back in here into these spots. We got a pretty good little ditch going on back in this area. You've also got some really good creek channels coming back in here. You got a little creek channel back there. I thought there was one. Yeah, there's one back in here as well. You got some rock that's hidden way back in here. Again, I don't know how you get back in here, but if you can get back in here, this little area right in here looks like it could have some potential for sure. So went ahead and marked it for you guys. Looks like maybe an old pond or something, but looks like it has some pretty good depth. It's just being able to get back to it is definitely going to be the trick. So kind of moving up out of that pocket, a couple things that I saw getting a little bit further out here. Again, tons of timber, but there's some rock over here off of this side of this point. So, there's not a lot of rock in the area, but there are a couple little piles of them. That's one of them. You've got another one here. There's that white area again. Every time we see the white, we usually end up finding the rock. So you definitely got some rock right in there. Potentially might have some rock in this area too where that's white. Now, one thing I do notice here that you got to be extremely careful of, and these things will get you, and they will get your fiberglass boats big time. I can't tell if that's what that is. Maybe that's just a straight tree line. I thought that was a fence line. I was going to say you need to be extremely careful here because this looks like a fence line, but it's actually a tree line. Almost a perfect square for a tree line there. But anyway, just be super careful out here. Lots of stumps. Lots and lots and lots of stumps. Got a little hump out here. Didn't see too much out there as far as rocks. I skipped over that one. But there is some rock around these points. You can see here these three little points have some really nice little shallow rock that you could fish around. You got some more going on right in here. They're just all in these little random spots. And so I just marked the spots for you guys. You can see here all these different little rocky areas have been marked. This point looks pretty good too. Maybe some access here. I don't see a ton of trees right there. I'm sure if I zoom out, I'll start seeing it again. But if you can get up in here, this point looks really good. Lots of standing timber around the point. You got this little island that comes out as well. And then if you get back in here, there's an old bridge right in here as well. If I zoom in, you'll be able to see it. That old bridge, those things can be really, really good, especially you catfish. I mean, I've caught some catfish, got some really good catfish off things like that. So, and then this red line that you see, this is actually an old roadbed. So it's an old roadbed that basically goes from all the way up there, all the way through here. So I went ahead and marked it for you guys. The roadbed, I can't tell. It doesn't look like it has concrete. When I look at in certain areas, I don't see a lot of concrete or a lot of hard surface areas. But I definitely can tell that there's something there. So maybe just go check it out. If you have time to go scan the roadbed, go scan the roadbed. Or maybe if you're just passing over it, just make sure you look around it when you go passing over it. So we come out of that little pocket there, little cove, whatever you want to call it. We've also got another pond dam going on right in here. Again, super hard to get to. Don't know how you would be able to get back in here. Definitely want an aluminum boat on this lake. Got some creek channels back in here as well. I've got marked for you guys. Some really good riprap. Get back in here. You got a couple little creeks that get back in here. I didn't mark these because I didn't have enough tracks to mark them for you guys. But I don't know. You'd have to be getting pretty deep into those trees to be able to get back in here. I could see this being a decent spot maybe in the spring, but definitely go check it out. I think you'll be able to tell where those creek channels are just by the lay of the land. All right, so I'm going to move up here. Let me kind of show you guys where I'm at. We went back in there. Now we're going to come up in this last pocket, and then we're going to move our way up to the top. So first part, I want to show you guys this little saddle that's right here. So I'm going to call it a saddle. It's pretty much the roadbed going through there, but it kind of creates this little channel between this island and the land. So I really like that area right in there. Really good pinch point for the fish. You got another one here, but it's not as obvious as that other one was. Then moving on up, it's got another pond dam over in here you can check out. Probably got some pretty good depth right around that area for sure. Roadbed's right in here. More riprap around these bridges. You guys know me and bridges. I love fishing around bridges. There's plenty of rock around both these bridges. This one's got a real nice channel that goes through it. Some good A-rig spots on both of these. And then rocks on both sides. So really like that. And there's even a boat launch right there, Buck Creek Boat Launch. So that could be a real good spot to start off at for sure to be able to find fish pretty quickly. So as you move further up this cove up here, we got a couple different creek channels that are over in here. We've got a roadbed coming over in here that you can see. So I've got that marked. Those are going to be the red ones. Now on your graphs, they're probably all going to be the same color unless you go and modify them. But if you see a track just going straight across the lake, you're going to know that's probably a roadbed. As you move further down in here, we've also got a ditch that's back in here that's pretty significant with an old pond. Now this looks like if you got this high enough up there and got the water deep enough that you would be able to actually get back there and maybe get into that area. So go check that spot out. That has some potential for sure. Now, as we move further back here, now we're getting into a decent little creek channel. So I've got this one marked for you guys here. This one goes all the way back in here. It looks like it might have some cover to actually fish around, some grass. I'm not sure what all this stuff is, but go check that out. The line looks off, but I'm telling you, the line kind of changes depending on what year it is. So if I move this back to the year I marked it, it's spot on. But if I move it to 2015, it moves it just a little bit. You can see here, just a little bit off. So not sure what's going on with that, but still really, really close and going to get you right on the creek channel there. Now, as we move further up here, some more creek channels, some more pond dams. You can see here, love those pond dams, especially fish on the insides of them. This one's really good. Real good, real good contours there off that pond. Also got a nice little ditch that's up here as well. So if you scroll up here and get in the back of this pocket, we've got a real good ditch that comes right up through here, right into that pond. So I really like that one. That has some pretty good potential. Moving on over here, got more rock, of course, we talked about on those bridges, but we got a pond that's back here too. So this was kind of busted up, not a really good pond dam, but I could see catching fish on the insides of both of these areas. So definitely go over there and check those spots out. Talked about those rocks that were there. And now we're going to keep moving up. We've got the roadbed we talked about. As we move further up here, we've got a creek channel that's right up here. Again, this boat's doing it. He's like, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to fish it. But look at all of the trees you'd have to get through. But if you can get back here and get to it, it's pretty good creek channels back there. Not as good as that other one we just saw. But so we also have a pond dam that's over here. So you can see right here, you can fish off the inside of that pond dam. And then as we move further up, let's see what else we can find in here. Some more pond dams over here in this area. Lots of standing timber. Again, you got to be careful, but pond dams right in here. Also got another pond dam that's over here that looks pretty significant. And again, when we pull that water up, that looks pretty good. Looks like you can get some pretty good depth in those ponds. So definitely take a look at those. More ponds, lots of ponds in this area. So I guess if you get on the pond dam pattern, you're money up here because you've got a lot of different ones you can fish. I don't know how many we're counting here, but it seems like I've gone through a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different pond dams just in this area. So lots of different pond dams you can fish. We've got them all marked here. You can see them. Didn't see a lot of rock and stuff like that, but definitely have these pond dams. That one's not going to be far enough underwater, I don't think, to get access to, but you can definitely get access to this one. We've also got a nice little laydown that's over here too. You can see, or something. I put laydown. That could be like an old foundation or something as well. So go check that out. That looked interesting. Again, there's a boat back in here, so there's a way to get back to these. I don't know how you get back in there. Again, probably see if you can get some boat lanes or something like that. Maybe there's a way to figure your way out into these. We've also got some creek channels back in here. More ponds to take a look at. This one's got a lay down by it too. Let's zoom in and see what that is. Very interesting stuff right here on the outside of that pond dam. I have no idea what that is, but to me, that looks like a fish attractor. So I would definitely go there and fish it for sure. Moving on up, another pond dam. We're just like pond dam central as we get into this area. And then another pond dam right up in here. And then again, I'm not sure if you can get back up in here. I'm sure you can. But as you get further back up in here, you get some pretty good little creek channels back up in here as well. So as we get really deep up in here, you can see where this creek channel just goes through. Zigzags. You got a nice little deep spot right in here. Got some riprap that you could fish around up in this area. Again, nice little creek channel that you could hover around and see what you could find in there. You got a little offset creek channel that goes right in there as well. So, and then up here, you got kind of the same thing, another creek channel that zigzags up in here and goes all the way back up through there as well. And that one, again, looks like it may have some grass and stuff as you get a little bit further back in there. Not sure what kind of grass that is, but some kind of grass, some kind of cover that you could fish around. So maybe you kayakers, that could be a good spot to go back and look at. Also looks like a good hunting area as well. So it's probably for duck hunting and stuff like that, probably a good area to go back into. So as we move further down here, as we go down this bank line, I really didn't see too much, that caught my eye. There was one little pond right here, but it didn't look like the lake got up high enough for you to get back to it. But other than that, just not too much going on there until we got around this area right in here. This pond was accessible. So you could get back to this one and fish back behind it. So definitely would be a good one to go check out. Didn't see a lot of rock on these humps or anything like that. Again, standing timber just pretty much everywhere you looked. As you move back further over here, there is some hidden rock back here. So you've got these 3 little points that have this rock off of them. This one's got a lot. These 2 have a lot of standing timber. This one looks like you get to it pretty easily. But those 3 little points look really interesting. You've also got another pond that's back in here as well. Got some debris that's way back in here. And this lake looks totally different when the water's down. You can see back here, I got 2 little piles of debris that are back in here. You got a little pond, possibly that's back in here, maybe a little pond dam that you could fish around. All depends on your water level really on this one. If that water's up, this is going to look a lot different. You're going to be able to get back there and fish around a lot of that stuff. But definitely go take a look at some of these things if you're in the area for sure. As we move further up in here, we get further back in this pocket and kind of zoom out and show you guys where I'm at. Because I did make the turn. I went down here and now I'm up in this first cove. Come up here, we got a good creek channel that's up here. Again, starting to see potential grass maybe. Something's green down there for sure. So go take a look at these little creek channels. Those can be good to you if you can get back in there. Also, up in here, you got your rock around your bridges. I thought there were some more creek channels up here too, and there's a couple of them. There's one right here. There's another kind of semi one right in there, and then there's a really good one over here as well. And again, if you get further back in there, that's when it starts getting into the juicy stuff. So just some good things to look at, especially if you're up there on that branch of the lake for sure. As we come back down, we already covered those rocks. Let's talk about this lay down that's right here. So we got a lay down right off this island, very isolated. Maybe not even lay down, maybe just be some kind of debris or something, but it's something that's pretty large that I could see them relating to, especially in this area. As you move further down, so I'm having a problem with my mouse here all of a sudden. for some reason. As we move further down, we also have some rock. So a little bit of isolated rock right here in this area. As soon as Google Earth catches up with me, we will keep moving on. And I'm going to zoom back out, moving on down. Got another creek channel that's back in here. This one looked pretty interesting. Maybe possibly have some grass or some kind of cover in here. You got the different shades, so it looks like it has some potential for sure. And then you've also got some rock off of that point. Very isolated area, very isolated rock. Definitely a good spot to go try and find some fish for sure. Moving on down as we get further down here. I have no idea why my internet decided to just go absolutely nuts on me there. But as I move further down that pocket, let me get back situated again. It was right here on this rock before it decided to go crazy on me. There's a little hump that's out here, and it's got some rock right on the top of it. You can see it right here. Dirt on one side, rock on the other side. Very good hump to go take a look at for sure. We talked about the rock over there on that side. You got another pond dam that's over here too. Got a couple of them back in here that you could go check out. Big flats you could fish around. Got some road beds that I marked for you here as well. Some of them were kind of hard to do, so I didn't mark them all, but the significant ones I went ahead and marked for you guys. Going back up in here, this is kind of that second pocket, right? We went through this first one. Now we're going to go up in this one, or cove, whatever you want to call it. But going up in here, seeing a lot of the same things, but again, these pond dams just keep sticking out to me. So I marked them all for you guys. Got one here. You got another one that's up there. And then if you get further back in here, you've got a couple different little creek channels that you could fish. And there's some debris that's right here, right off the edge of this thing. We're going to be able to zoom in and see it here in just a second. You can see here, there's some kind of pile of debris or something going on right off the edge of this point. So if you're back there, and you were getting back up into the back of this cove, maybe check that out too while you're up there. Again, getting a little bit further back in here, but you got some pretty good little creek channel going on back in there. And if you can get far enough back in here, it looks like there's some kind of a pond or something back here as well. So not sure if you can get that far back in there. You probably could have a kayak for sure. Not sure about a bass boat. Plus that's hunting land, so you got to be careful you don't get shot back there. All right, so moving on back down. We're going to cover just a couple more spots, and then we're going to close this video out. We've got more ponds out here. This one is totally submerged right now, so it's going to be submerged when the lake is up, so I could see this being a good one. This pond over here could be a good one as well. You can see that one's marked right there. More as we go up this, we've got more pond dams, 2 more over here. We got another one right in here, and we've got a really nice little ledge going on right here. So if I zoom in here, you're going to see this. A real good break going on right there. So again, when the water's up, that break actually is there, right? So you could fish right along that ledge. You're outside of all that brush and stuff. That looks pretty flooded there. You're outside of all that brush and stuff, but you're still able to see that there's a ledge right here. It's probably 15, 20 feet off the bank line. You've got a really good ledge. So go check that out. That's one of those little secret spots that usually when you find those are usually pretty good spots to be able to find some fish. Moving up here, you just got that creek channel. And then of course you got an old road bed that's back there as well. Let me zoom in there for you and show you that. It's right underneath Highway 372. Another hunting area, so be careful guys. But you got another road bed that's back here, and this one's got a little bit of concrete on it. So go check that one out too. I'm going to zoom back out here. And we're going to go look at this one. This is just another creek channel back here. Not too much to show you guys, but I'll go ahead and mark that one for you. So you can go look at that one. There's the road bed we talked about. Just those random road beds that go out there. They're all over this lake. And then out of all this dirt and everything like that, there actually is a little bit of rock that's hidden back in here. So if you were really desperate, wanted to go find some rock, there's a little bit of rock right there. So could be a good spot, especially considering there is nothing around that area in regards to rock. So we're going to move a little bit further down. Like I said, we'll probably wrap it up here in a second. We got another pond dam back in here as well. And then in the middle of that pond dam, it looks like there could be a brush pile or a lay down or something like that. So you could go check that one out too. So let's go down. Let's stop at the edge of this point here. We just got 2 more things to look at. Actually just one more. Just some rock right here, some random rock right off of this bank line. And again, you can see this is a lot of dirt and things like that. And then all of a sudden, you just hit these rock piles. So this looks like it's outside of a swimming area. Just outside the swimming area, right off the tip, you got just a little bitty rock pile hanging out right in that area. And that's where we're going to finish out for tonight. We'll come back on our next video, and we'll start right here off this little hump that's out here, and we'll continue to work our way down the lake until we get back down to the dam. Till next time, guys, hope you catch your PB. Don't forget to go out and check out our site, simplisticfishing.com. You can get all these waypoints for your graph today. Take it easy, guys.